Hey guys, well, it's another weekend of work on the L9000. Thanks for watching. For some reason, people seem to be interested in this old stuff, but I'm too, so I get it. Anyway, so what we're working on today is, well, it's actually pretty late in the day on Saturday. Had stuff to work on, bathrooms to clean, housework to do, and my wife's getting a new truck this week, which is significantly larger than her Explorer, so I had to completely gut and clean out the garage, the attached garage, and get that all swept up and freezers moved around, and still got some organizing to do there once she gets some stuff picked up from the store. But at any rate, just a couple hours there, a couple hours in the house. So needless to say, it's going on 2 o'clock here, but we're gonna get some stuff done real quick here out in the barn. And if you guys didn't notice, check out, maybe you can tell, check out how bright it is in here. This is one of the things I did yesterday. So went to good old Menards. They had a sale, and got myself some lights. Got 2 different styles. So we're 100% LED out here in the barn now. It was a couple LEDs, but then it was all mostly fluorescent. So got rid of the crappy old, not all that efficient fluorescent, and went to this. So let me show you here. Oh, we can't flip it. Dang it, we gotta stop the video. I think I knew that. Let me flip you here, guys. I'm gonna show you. So as we come in here, you guys can see it is like daylight in here. And sun's starting to go down now, but it is a sunny day. But still, I can tell you from being in here last night after I put them up, or when I was putting them up and it was dark out, it's no darker at night. So I'm not going to bore you with, I got a couple different sizes and types and whatnot, but the point is it's bright, and that's the way it should be. We're working on old rigs. Got a couple up here. So as you can see, I've got great light coming into the engine bay or whatever I'm working on if it's backed in. If it's pulled in, I still got great light. So pretty excited. So let's get to the business of what you're watching this for. So we're working on the L9000. My goal is by the end of the weekend, at the very least, this truck is back in approximately where it sits right now, but there will be an air ride cutoff axle with a couple of these on it back here. And then I'll have room when I start doing the work, which I hope to start tomorrow. Once I get this stuff removed, I'll have room to shimmy that over here. I don't know how that's going to work. It's probably going to involve some jacks and some nonsense. We'll get that figured out. But the point being, though, that's the goal. In the meantime, we've got to finish getting fluids back in this old girl, and then get her pulled out, take her for a little spin, because that's always fun, and I want to be able to burp that coolant. And then I'm going to pull Nancy in here, do what I got to do with headlights, and checking a couple things out. I want to do it in the heat, obviously, because it's 20 degrees outside. And then we'll get Nancy kicked back out of here and do what I said before, get the L9000 in here with the axle. So I got a skid steer sitting across the street I can use for that. So I'm partway through what I was working on. We've got everything drained coolant wise, and all my filters, the correct filters, are back on. So I got the correct oil filters last week. You can get a little peek at them there. One's a full flow and one's a bypass filter, so got the proper ones. Got the original Fleet Guard numbers. And a little backstory on that is what I had to do was call the Freightliner dealer locally here. Because it's an 87, it was pre-electric, I guess, if you will. So we had to, or pre-computerized, that's the term I'm looking for there, genius. So the parts guy I talked to had to pull it up on microfiche. So it took him about 45 minutes. Went upstairs, checked the microfiche, and he got me an engine serial number off of the VIN number, which I provided him with. So with ESN in hand, I went over to Cummins website and did some digging, got the original Fleet Guard numbers, and also found that this is not a 240 horse, this is a 270 horse, which makes a little more sense because 240 seemed really, even for a single axle tractor, seemed pretty low. So that's a little better. It feels like more like 270, to be honest with you. It does not feel like a 240 horse motor in a truck this heavy. So anyway, we got our filter numbers. I crossed them to Wix. I've got a spreadsheet with everything written down. It's not really a spreadsheet, it's notes in my phone. But regardless, I've got the original, all the Fleet Guard numbers, but then all my cross-reference to Wix. I verified on Wix's website all of the thread diameters and, you know, filter details on all 4 filters, so we're good to go. Today I pulled the coolant filter back off. I pulled off these, you can see my 2 new hoses here going to my fuel cooler. We got new hoses all routed up here to that. We got a new hose there, which feeds the, I believe that feeds the oil cooler actually. And then we got, you can barely see it there, but we got some convoluted tubing at the one spot where it was previously rubbing on the frame, so we got some protection there now. Fancy new hoses, 16 feet of coolant line, so those aren't going to fail. I didn't replace the rest of the hoses, my upper and lower. I did find out with a little research that this is a low flow cooling system because of, you can see how small of a diameter those upper and lower rad hoses are, so that's indicative of a low flow. Interesting. They're not horrible. There's a little cracking, but I mean, like, it's really just where somebody painted. That's actually what that is. So I'm not saying they don't need to be replaced, but we're not going to do them right now. So I've got filters back on. I did pull the coolant filter. I pulled the rad here, but she ain't draining. Everything was already out. So I mean, obviously we pulled this hose, and those lines to the fuel cooler are actually the lowest lines on the system. I'm sure there's still some coolant in the block. Without a flush machine, we're not going to get that out. So we're going to refill with 100% distilled water and the proper. That's why this actually worked out well, that I had to lose all this green coolant, because like a dodo, I didn't do my homework when I went to buy this truck and get it running, and I bought green coolant. Well, it's being a liner motor and I mean, it's not new by any means, but it's a newer Cummins. We have to have that stuff, or else we're going to pit our liners out in, I don't know, a couple thousand miles, maybe less. So we're going to get all this back in, the good stuff. I know it's the good stuff, it's peak, but regardless, the point being it's the right stuff. Got some distilled water. We should have more than enough to fill this system back up. We're going to get around 10-11 gallons of oil put into her and be on our way. So once we're done with that, I'm probably not going to do the trans today. At most, I don't feel like it. I want to get my other stuff done that I want done. But more importantly, I saw the fluid in the trans when I had the stick off, the shifter off, and it doesn't need, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be done. I will do it just for peace of mind, because I want to get the, again, the right fluid in, which would be this stuff here. We want to make sure we get our synthetic 50 weight in that trans, because that's what it wants. But it looks pretty decent for now, so we're not going to worry too much about it. And we'll get to that later. We are going to get this stuff in. Good old Rotella. Apparently this stuff's getting hard to find. Like friggin' everything, right? But I bought this a few weeks ago before there was a shortage. So actually when I bought it, I was warned that it was going to become a shortage. So anyway, we got our 10 gallons we need. That'll do in this truck for a couple years, the rate we're going to drive it. So I'm going to get after it. I'm going to get the fluids all added back in here so I can fire this bad boy up. It's a bad girl, we don't call it. Trucks aren't boys. Everybody knows that. But we're going to get her fired up and get it out of here, let her warm up, take her for a spin, and get an F450 in here and do some work. And tomorrow we'll be back at the L9000. All right, there, fellers. Well, it's cold this morning. It's actually hardly morning anymore. I did some stuff in the house again. While I get dressed here, because it's cold, it was about 1 degree last night, and it's warmed up now. Sun's out. It's warmed up to about 18 as I speak to you. I don't have the furnace on out here in the barn just yet, because we got some moving around to do. There's no sense in wasting propane just to open the door and send it back outside. So I've got to get Nancy out of here. We got everything done we can do to her. Changed my worn out ground strap out back. I didn't put in LED headlights because some freaking idiot I know named Rob ordered the wrong ones. I ordered them for aftermarket headlight housings, and I don't have aftermarket housings. I have stock housings. So, needless to say, they don't fit. They were H7 bulbs instead of H13. So, I emailed the company. We'll get them sent back and have them ship us the right ones. So anyway, we took the grill and headlights out for nothing. But regardless, it wasn't too bad. So, boy, these haven't been moved in a while. They're probably not gonna move. Oh, yes, they will. There we go. So, regardless, we're ready to pull that out. I got the skid steer running over at the property across the street. It's been warming up 5-10 minutes now. So, good enough. So we're gonna, since we did a little driving yesterday, and you get to see that in the video, do a little cold start for you too. This is a real cold start. I think the last one I did, it was around 30 degrees or almost above freezing. So this is a little colder now. So we'll see how the old Cummins in the L9000 responds to that. So we'll get that started, then we'll fire up Nancy and get some stuff moved around for you. so now it's time to get the Milwaukee out, jack up, get some tires moved around. Hey, look, it's a tandem. Not really. All right, so you saw that, just how fast I fucking work. You like that, huh? I don't really work that fast. That was, I don't know, an hour or two, whatever it was. But anyway, we've got the frame cut in here. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be fun. I realized I can't just take off, not realize, but use my brain and realize I can't just start unbolting brake cans because there's spring brakes on there holding it on. So it's not like we're going to get to, you know, even probably making a cut today. We'll be lucky if we can get this suspension unbolted. So we're just starting the process here today, and the meat of it's going to be next weekend probably, and I doubt we'll even finish because there's a lot of work to be done and we got to be precise with it. So I'll get myself some caging bolts this week so we can cage all these brakes out, and I'm probably going to go to the old Harbor Freight and grab some of those sweet little rolly things, because and I'm going to have to get some jack stands, some decent ones. Those are, you know, those are just parts store ones, some old AC Delcos or something. My heavy ones, those are, I don't even know what they are. They've been painted. I think those were 8 or 10 ton. Can't hardly get through here. That's the problem. I'm too fat to get through that, so I guess I'm crawling. But anyway, I've got some 3 or 4 ton over there, some little shorties, which working on big trucks are all but useless. And you can see that one's bent. It's probably not real safe to be using. It's from when I destroyed the other one. I can't remember if it was the school bus or the Lodestar. I think it was the Lodestar. Something frame fell on them. I don't remember. But anyway, they're done for. So probably snag some big jack stands too. For today, as I'm unbolting stuff, I'm probably gonna, you know, use the jack and get this frame on the L9000 cribbed up so that we can you know, have everything loose. And then if we got to crib it nice and high to get things out, it is what it is. It would be a whole lot easier if we could spin this truck around and nose it in, but she's too tall, my barn's too short, so we got to deal with this. Otherwise we could just pull the truck in, do what we got to do, and then, you know, use the skid steer to move everything in and roll it together and all that good stuff. But it's gonna be, we're gonna have to do it the hard way. Is what it is. That's the fun part, right? So I'm gonna get started again on, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. My mind is telling me that in order to make the most use of this frame, that I'm gonna start, well, I gotta start with getting that shaft out. Hopefully she drops out relatively easily, but we gotta get the shaft out, then get some lines cut, unbolted, whatever you want to call it. Electric's already all been cut, so it's just a matter of getting them out. We gotta unloom a little bit, but mostly it's just a matter of getting these 3 air lines loosened up, which we've already had them off, so they should come out pretty easy. Anyway, we'll get that stuff done, and then I'm gonna try, we're gonna see if we can hey I was gonna say I want to see if I can get those off, but I don't know, we might be torching them. We'll see. I'd love it if I could get them off. It's a lot easier than torching, but I don't know, those are crusty bolts, have been on there a long time. So I'll get after it, probably put you guys on time lapse again, because this just makes for shorter, more watchable videos. Alright guys, my battery's about to die, so I don't know if we're going to get through this or not, but as you saw on the time lapse, frame's gone. My intention was to try to cut through just the outer and leave that inner frame longer, for my fish plate, but it was just next to impossible. Cutting rusty steel like that, so I said to heck with it. I'll get some new pieces for my fish plates. And obviously you can see I cut them long for my measurements. At the end of the day, the total gain is 7 inches, or 7¼ inches, I'm sorry. Drive shafts measured on the ground exactly next to each other were 9¼ inches longer for the new one. But measurements to the center of the yoke, or the center of the U-joint from center of axle, this new axle is 2 inches shorter. This is a beefy axle. It's bigger than she looks. She is significantly larger. Those are full 6-inch tubes. We only got 5 inches on the Peterbilt, and I just physically it's a smaller axle. Total width of the carrier is 7 inches there. It's only 5 here, so yeah, it's a big boy. But at any rate, so we had a total of measured from center of this axle to the cut is 40¼ inches. And then we measured from the center of this axle to the cut, and that ended up being 33 inches. So there's our total of 7 inches, or 7¼ inches, I'm sorry, overall longer. So we got cuts to clean up on both of these. It's going to take me a while, but I'm going to do them with the angle grinder, and I'll pick up another one of those diamond metal blades, and that way we can do a nice, clean, neat cut, and then bevel it out and have it ready for welding. So next weekend, I think we'll get this thing welded together. Got to get those dolly wheels so I can get this axle moved, because that's a heavy son of a bitch. Slid out of the way, and then cage those brakes out, and get that thing. We'll have to come up with some fancy pants work to get that done, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, slide that together and do some shimming and clamping, and we'll figure it out though. And we'll get to welding. We'll test fit the drive shaft, of course. Probably not going to roll that heavy ass drive shaft around. We'll cut a little piece of wood or something to the exact length and use that as a measuring stick, and we'll play with our, we'll do that before we even make our final cuts. Obviously we want to make sure that shaft is right, and obviously it's going to be easier to do right now because those bags are at full droop. So she's sitting on the stops, so that means that shaft will be at nearly full compression. We'll basically, we'll give it a little bit of playroom just for some extra freak stuff, but yeah, we'll go full compression. That gives us plenty of slack on that slip yoke. So we had a good day today, boys. We got a lot done. Good weekend, so I'm excited. This is the fun part. I will tell you that I realize I'm not an old man, but I am a fat man, and I'm almost 42 years old. And man, in the summertime, when I'm used to heaving stuff around for work, this would be a little easier, but my freaking back is sore. I am going to be hurting it. So I'm going to go take a little bit of a leave and mix a stiff vodka tonic or two, and make some shrimp and grits and collard greens. That sounds amazing right now. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And this is how people who don't know, I shouldn't say people who don't know what they're doing. This is how people who've never done it before do frame swaps / frame extensions. But we got the basics. We'll get her done. Thanks for watching. You boys have a good week.